and it's a real pleasure and honor to be here with you today. And I'm an omnist. Yesterday I spoke a little bit about the importance of understanding and knowing the times that we're living in, and truly understanding the pressures that all of us are experiencing that are there for us. They're pressures that are used in the evolutionary process to impact and spur on evolutionary growth. We see evidence of that in nature. It's happening to us now. So all kinds of things are happening, and some of those things can feel a little uncomfortable. Some of them can feel even confusing. In fact, sometimes the more empathic we are, the more awake and aware we are of our environment, the more challenging it can be. So I spoke a little bit about the idea that we are a very sophisticated piece of technology in terms of the cosmos. And understanding how our technology means, the two words being techno, fashioned and by the artisan, the great artisan itself, which is source God, and then logi, meaning created from the word of God. So technology, we are literally fashioned by the Om frequency resonance of creator source God, the one. Then we begin to appreciate the necessity of a return to natural science, to a return to rational ideas around what we are. And what I mean by rational ideas, I mean the kind of science that is completely holistic, that is not one-sided, that can actually begin to prove many of the things that we have learned from the distant past, from our ancestors. So science that actually says, oh, this is why the ancient blah blah did this. That kind of science is coming in, and it's there for us. So understanding our technology as empaths, as aware, as star seeds, as light seeds, as earth seeds, it doesn't matter what you call yourself. The fact that you just know what's going on and you're tuned in is what qualifies you to know more about your own technology. So I want to dig into that a little bit more, and I want to share some techniques that I use to kind of allow me comfortably to move in the world and not be drained by it. Now, the world is called the matrix, and it is a matrix, but it's not necessarily a negative thing. It is an extreme boot camp that forces us, if we are aware, to understand that we are the lucid observers of the dream. So all the craziness, all the confusion, all the erratic behavior, we're painfully aware of because we're awake in the dream. And that can put a tremendous burden on us. It can wear us out. We can get burned out. So I'm going to share a technique today that could kind of help boost your energy levels and get you in the morning kind of a bit more, energized, so that you're able to move more freely in the world and not be as impacted by it. And I just want to call your attention to the fact that we have to become much more aware of how delicate our equipment is in terms of things like artificial light, the toxic behavior of others, when we're literally in a soup of all kinds of behaviors, people at all different levels of the game, so to speak, and they're all impacting us because we're all entangled. We can't divorce ourselves from the world. Even if we lived in the middle of nowhere, we are, because we're part of a collective, going to be impacted by it. So just like you wouldn't take out your device at an airport, use the airport open Wi-Fi and do all your banking, you wouldn't also just go into your day without having done some kind of technique to just prepare yourself, to prime yourself, energetically interacting with people. Some of those people might be very powerfully negative and draining. So for example, a lot of people, when they go into a store and there's those, or they're in an office and they've got those fluorescent LED lights over them, they can really burn you out. They can really do a number on your aura, on your electromagnetic field. So you're going to want to do something mindful to protect yourself against that kind of radiation, that kind of impact. So being aware of how open your energy centers are, being aware of how solvent, it can be porous because it needs to breathe, but how solvent and strong your electromagnetic field is, which is arm's length all the way around, like an egg shape. How strong that is, getting that activated, and it's always running, but when you bring your awareness to it, it kind of takes it up another level. Now, I spoke yesterday about some of the props I use. I use props because I'm continuously having to interact with my unconscious mind that is continuously bringing up all kinds of reasons and excuses and sabotage programs as to why I can't do what I do. So I have to interact. I have to disrupt that mind, including the monkey mind, by actually holding inanimate objects like a feather, this beautiful stone here. I hold the stone in one hand and I remind myself, and this is tactile driving. You're driving this concept through the sense of touch. It's powerful. You're reinforcing it, and at the same time, and you can feel the weight of it. It's a very real thing in your hand. It's quite heavy, and at the same time, excuse me, I have a feather which is beautiful and light. So I'm organically, my attention is brought to this, my attention is brought to that. And what I remind myself every day is that I want to be as solid as this rock, as grounded and timeless and solid as this rock. And at the same time, I want to be as light as this feather. So I want my electromagnetic field, I want my energy to be as light as it can. I want to make sure that I clear out any density, any energy, and I don't take on anybody else's stuff. So I want to be mindful of keeping my electromagnetic field tippy top. I also, when I find my monkey mind, which is pretty active most of the time, when it's doing a lot of chitter chatter and I can't quieten it, I ping this. You may not be able to hear it. Let's see if I can do it next to the microphone. If you can't hear that, it's a very high-pitched sound, and it's called an energy bar chime. Again, these are the little hacks I use because it's very easy for me to slip into my chitter-chatter monkey mind and get distracted by all kinds of ridiculous things. But when I bring my awareness to my own coherence, my waveforms, my electromagnetic field, I want to make sure that all of my senses are focused in on what it is I want to do. The good news is it doesn't take long to get into this technique. That's the good news. There's another little couple of toys I use. I like to remind myself of how magnetism works. So I've got two magnets, and if you turn them the other way, they repel each other. So again, I'm driving and reinforcing deep alchemical physics, laws of physics, principles, so that my mind is constantly aware of all of the forces and powers that are out there that I am going to be navigating as being part of the matrix, going into my job or just being with my family or being around friends, whatever, going out. So again, these are useful things, and you don't have to be like crazy over obsessed by them. Just get used to touching things, get used to bringing all of your senses in. I also use sage, I burn incense, all those things, smell, sight, sound, touch. All of these things reinforce a deeper connection to our beautiful human body, because this is it. This is the starship right here. So getting to know how this works, getting in it every day, and really knowing who you are and grounding yourself is the name of the game. That's what's going to help you get through this, all of us get through this time period, which is just, the end of an old system and the birth of a new one. So this is a coherence technique. And what I'll try and do is in the replay, I'll It might be a good idea to write these out so that you have them. You can make them your own. In fact, that would be very powerful if you record these yourself. So let's do what we always do. Let's take a few deep breaths in. Priming. Pulling in that prana, life, force, power into the body. And then taking some deep breaths in through our nose, holding for 2, exhaling through the mouth. And just again, driving our awareness into our breath. So we're driving our awareness now and becoming much more present to the physicality of our body, taking that awareness out, pushing it out in all directions into our electromagnetic field. Feeling it, bringing focus to our feet, which are beautifully planted on the floor. We start every technique by putting our floor and grounding to the earth, of course. That's the most important thing. Let's go a little deeper. We're going to drop into our heart energy center. The heart is the biggest intelligence center of the human body. It is more than a pump. It is connected to the very heart or 0 point of the cosmos. And it is here that the Shekinah light, God's eternal flame, the I Am presence, resides. So dropping into that heart energy center, you can see it as a ball of light, an inner sun. You can see it as a sphere, as a luminous diamond. Just feel it. I want you to imagine between your heart and your navel in the solar plexus area a beautiful golden sphere. And I want you to imagine it's an unusual shape. It's a set of wheels within wheels. So imagine an outer wheel, and then imagine another wheel inside of it, crisscrossing it, and then imagine intersecting it on every angle possible, a series of other wheels. And I want you to imagine all of those wheels spinning, their velocity, different orbits, but all within the same sphere, the same wheel. And I want you to imagine that sphere, those wheels within wheels, picking up speed until they become a blur of spin. So they create a velocity, and they're spinning coherently. And as they spin coherently, they are waveforming golden waves of light. And those waves of light will come out of that sphere in every direction, lapping out towards the edge of your electromagnetic field, which has a beautiful white golden light. Some of those waves are gonna go through your electromagnetic field as thinner rays. and they're going to permeate the greater space that's around you, the ether. And they're going to program that ether as a buffer zone. That nothing toxic and negative and draining, no entity, no energy, no person, no thing can attach to you and harvest your life power or your energy and time throughout your day. And that only love and light and joy is allowed to come through that permeated but vibrant firewall, that electromagnetic field, and come in and you experience it. So that's your technology. That is always running. It's just that we're not aware of it. So spend some time every day connecting to all these energy systems, but particularly the inner sun, your electromagnetic field, the waveforms, and this sphere that sits between your heart and your navel, so in the solar plexus. That's a generator. That's your generator. And that's what we want to keep spinning at a velocity that runs your life smoothly and coherently. One of the things I like to do when I do this practice, because obviously I'm doing a lot of talking and I don't do the talking when I'm doing it, so I would invite you to really make this your own, is one thing I do to get myself out of my head is I hum the Om. So as I connect to my sphere through my heart, so we always want to go through our heart first, and quieten down the mind, so the mind becomes the enlightened mind, which is the observer I am. I hum Om, and I get louder and louder and louder until I can feel my whole body reverberating. And then I fall into silence, and I usually count about 10 seconds. And then when I finished, I shake it out. You want to move, you want to get into your body, you want to really just feel physical, and you're about to go to work or about to go into the world, and you want to hold that energy. And then you want to use your word, the power of the Logos, the word, to declare. Remember, everything we say, especially if we use the phrase I am, that's a command. So we want to, I'll get into that another day, but for now, command your day, bless it. I bless this day. I bless everybody I interact with. I bless every experience and interaction, that it may be for my highest good and for the good of all humanity. And so it is. And then you stay embodied and you get on with your day. And you do this as often as you can. As often as you need to. If you miss a day, it doesn't matter, just pick it up the next day. It's always there for you. Your technology is always there for you. It's always running. It's just we forget to bring our awareness to it. So may God bless you, and may God bless your day. It's lovely to be here with you, and I will see you tomorrow.